It's time to take over Raid, one account at a time. Hello everyone, Bront, CatHerder here. We're having some fun talking Raid Shadow Legends, and we are here on Dr. Chaos's account. Now, he has done a takeover where we did some coaching, and one of the things we identified is he needs to start farming the Fire Knight. Now, as a day level 65 account, or fairly early account, he has spent a little bit, but regardless, he has an account that is very, very new. So his Fire Knight 20 team is not even very reliable or very well set up at the moment, but he had a lot of the champions to do this. So we identified those champions, we had them trained up, ready to go, we had full masteries ready to go, and I have built him a team that we are going to start on stage 20, make sure that this team works on stage 20, and see how far we can push it. Hopefully we should be able to push this to stage 25 so that he can farm the Fire Knight. Why? Because the Fire Knight is one of the best dungeons to farm to this day in Raid Shadow Legends. Get yourself some stun gear, very helpful for faction wars. Get yourself some regeneration gear, useful for everywhere. Get yourself some savage gear, useful everywhere. Those are three of the biggest and most important pieces of gear you will farm in Raid Shadow Legends, at least from dungeons. On top of that, shield gear can be usable, and you can get other stuff as well that could be very useful for you, such as crit damage gear, which can be very good for an early to mid game account as well. So we're going to take a look at the builds quickly. The builds are not great. We are not looking at, a lot of different builds here. We're not looking at a lot of different sets of gear here. We're just looking to make sure that we can get through the Fire Knight, control the Fire Knight, keep the shield down, and cruise through the game. So let's go take a look at the team we've built and what we've put together with it. Alrighty. So what we have here is the Fire Knight team. We are going to start on Fire Knight 20 and then see how far we can push this team up. Podrick is absolutely amazing for this. The fact that he has a 25% speed aura in dungeons is going to make the speed requirements we have easier, but we actually have these champions mostly built pretty fast as well, so that should be good. He does not need any accuracy. He mostly just needs speed and some ability to tank damage. He's got some HP, he's got some defense. I'm sure it's not a particularly great build, but it's a usable build for what we're looking for, because we're talking about Fire Knight normal. So he's going to be doing his ally attack first, but then we're going to kind of stash that. He'll not do it again here, and then he will start doing it again here, leading off with that because that will help us punch through the shield and repeatedly help us punch through the shield and control the Fire Knight as well. Plus he brings, of course, the increased turn meter and increased speed along with a cleanse. Can be very, very helpful, especially if you lose a little bit of control with the fight. Plus, since he's putting these continuous heals up, eventually everyone is at max HP, which can be very helpful for doing additional damage. We, of course, have the Rabbit here. The Rabbit is an amazing champion for Fire Knight. He does damage based on attack and speed, so we want a lot of speed and a lot of attack. As you can see here, we went more with the speed than the attack because we're often using him for the additional increased speed. That can be very helpful. We get the leech out of here as well. That can be very helpful for some healing on everybody as well. And then finally, we have a triple hitter that gives him additional turn meter. Now, the Rabbit is not booked, so these are not perfect to land, but we should get, some progress with this, and eventually he will be worth booking for this as far as the Fire Knight is concerned as well. Honestly, Razelvarg is a good champion for Fire Knight, both for normal and honestly can be usable for hard. We, of course, have everyone's favorite rare Coldheart here. Coldheart is pretty much set up to ignore doing this against the boss. Against the boss, she will naturally always do this when the shield is down, and will only do this skill if the shield is I guess the shield is down. She will do this when the shield is up to get through the shield, and then do this when the shield is down to decrease the turn meter. She's actually smart about this, so you don't need to program this, and in fact, if you do program that, you're likely to make a mistake. We have her reasonably fast. We've got enough accuracy to get to level 25 without a problem. We've got enough crit to be able to do the crit. We only needed 70, and some crit damage to be able to do some damage. Now, I would certainly like to stack more crit damage on her, but honestly, the damage is bonus. We're mostly using her for the turn meter control, and the damage just kind of helps with this. We have Rorella, who is absolutely amazing here. Now we are going to actually turn off this skill right here because the increased crit rate doesn't suck. Turn meter's not bad, but honestly, I want her to lead off with this, which is attacks an enemy 3 times, has a 100% chance of stealing 5% turn meter, and that is a steal. So that is a 15% turn meter drop on the boss, which is not a lower level, but it's close, but it's also stealing. So she's going to get get that. Plus, we have a chance to get decreased speed, weaken, and decreased defense, which will help us burn through the boss particularly quickly. And then finally, we have everyone's favorite Stag Knight. He is going to lead off with his A1 as well. That is another chance to get decreased speed. And then, of course, we have this here. We do have Sniper on him as well. So with Sniper, he will make sure he lands this 100% of the time. But otherwise, we're just kind of letting everyone go. So Rella can just kind of do whatever she needs to do. And then against the boss, we don't need the extra turn meter because Podreg and Razelvarg will kind of help with that. And hopefully that should keep the shield down and keep moving. Now, is this going to be the fastest team? Well, not exactly, but that's kind of where Razelvarg, and of course we have our Stag Knight here to help with that. So we're going to try floor 20 here and see how this works. All right, so generally we'll get one of these ally attacks here and then keep on going. We don't have a lot of AoE attacks here, but we do have some. And if our Cold Heart's got some decent AoEs and of course decent multipliers as well, so she should be doing that. Plus, we actually have the extra increased crit weight from Ruella. So Cold Heart's going to be critting on every ability on the waves, which is actually really nice as well. That's actually another good reason to bring a Ruella. And of course, we have some, well, we're going to have a couple of problems here and there. But as long as we can keep everyone alive, we should be good to go. And, it's not going to be perfect. But, hey, we're through the first wave in a little bit over a minute. Get some healing out there as well. It's actually nice that we're going to have some occasional leech out and stuff like that with the bunny. Obviously, this is not the best particular difficulty for the bunny at the moment because, well, he is a magic champion and this is a force dungeon. That's part of why I would like to get this to 25. And to be fair, if we end up having a problem where Razelvarg is not a good fit, there are other champions we can actually swap in here, but I really do like Razelvarg if we can make him work in this. And so far, it looks like we are doing okay. All right, so we're on to the boss in about 1:35. That's not too horrible. We'll certainly see how much we can turn down the boss. Now, Razelvarg will continue to speed himself up, which is great. And now we have the ally attack right here. And look at that. We are through the shield. We already have decreased speed on here. And we've got so much turn meter down that I don't think he is ever going to take another turn. Plus, this is level 20, so Cold Heart should make quick work of the boss because that max HP hit is really not capped at this point in time. So look at that. That is absolutely amazing. A bunch of turn meters still as well. And yeah, we're just kind of chugging along, cruising through the boss here. So the next part of this is to see how far we can push up, see if we can push up to level 24 or level 25 and see how fast that is going to be for this particular team. And there we go. Under 2 minutes and 40 seconds. It was technically a few more turns than he had done previously, but honestly, I will take a minute plus shaved off with a few extra turns. Plus, this team is set up pretty well. Cold Heart was a little sketchy at times. She was taking a little more damage than I would like. So maybe 20 is the cap for this, but we're going to certainly see how far we can push this at least. Because if we can push this to level 25, I think that would be a better place for him to farm overall. Okay, so it looks like we are just a little too squishy to be farming stage 21 here at the moment, which is fine. But we have several of the core champs built to be able to farm, well, this level as well. So we're not going to pick these guys up. I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll let these guys run and see if they can actually survive long enough to actually beat the boss. Maybe they can do the boss on their own. So let's keep on rolling and see if they die out. All right, so we're up against the boss with just this little triplet of 3. And I mean, we've got some speed. We don't have a lot of turn meter, stealing, unfortunately. So I don't expect this to go particularly well. But hey, we're here for the memes. We're here for the laughs. And we're here to have fun playing Raid Shadow Legends. So you know what? We might have got this far. We might as well try and see how we can do. And we're not dead yet. But you know what? The boss is healed up. So we are not going to make it through this. So that is fine. So, yep, we are a little too squishy at the moment to really kind of get past 21 with this particular team. Now, are there ways we might be able to make this a little more consistent? Yeah. So I'm going to take a look and see if I can maybe bring something that might actually make this just a little bit safer through stage 21 and see if we can push it a little bit further. So it looks like we are not going to be able to get much farther than stage 20 right now. But rather than that being a disappointing thing, the fact that it looks like we have a 100% or near 100% team at this low of a days in on stage 20 is actually pretty good. And it's that fast too. Now, my free to play, I had a 100% Fire Knight team on 20. In fact, I think I got all the way to 25 at one point in time, but I was using Geomancer, and it took 6 minutes to run. So the fact that we can run this in under 3 minutes on, an early game account, let him farm a ton of gear at Fire Knight. And then you know what? We can push a little bit further, a little bit later, because there's no real huge rush. Enjoy the game, have fun playing Raid Shadow Legends, do, farm some of this stuff, and eventually, once you've farmed the good gear, you've spent some time cleaning it up, you've spent some time, working on making your gear better and building more of your champs, eventually you will find you can progress in areas of the game that you might struggle with just a little bit. That said, I am probably going to go back and make sure that we glyph up these champions just a little bit better, give them a little more defense, give them a little more HP. And honestly, one of the things that will probably help a little bit as well is once we actually get a little more of this great hall filled out, specifically you get yourself to at least level 3 in the HPs, which would be a 6%, or that's a 4% chance, I guess, but an extra 4% HP and an extra 4% defense. It doesn't sound like a lot, but that is just that much extra defense and HP. It makes gearing so much easier to have some of these extra stats here. Getting yourself some of this extra accuracy would certainly not be too bad as well. But I believe what I told him here is once he gets Arbiter with getting this to level 10, the next thing he really wants to do is get every single one of these, including all these, especially maybe not the resistance, but everything else, get to at least level 3, because that'll make your Void champions easier to build. It will make your other champions easier to build. It'll give you some extra damage, and overall, it will make your account significantly better. And overall, that is a better investment in the Great Hall than it is to just max out these 3 next, because what happens is you're just missing, well, 4% HP, 2 to 4% attack, 4% defense, missing 6% crit damage. That's, doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a full extra piece of gear that you've rolled up there that would give you something useful. So, never count out your account. Never believe that you can't do something. Just understand where you're at. Sometimes there are going to be limits. You're only going to be able to progress so fast. But a 100% Fire Knight 20 team that is doing it in under 3 minutes is amazing for an account of this level. So hopefully that inspires you to try something new, try something different, or maybe build a really good Fire Knight team, because I can tell you the gear in Fire Knight really is what will bring your account to the next level. So hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. If you're interested in takeovers, I do takeovers down below. I do paid takeovers regularly through Discord. I do free takeovers on CatHerder. I stream every CatHerder from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. U.S. Central Time, forbidding of other things that I may or may not have to do. So come check me out there. I often do free, cheap takeovers there, and I give a lot of coaching advice as well. And obviously, I like to show these takeovers on these YouTube channels as well, because I think you guys enjoy seeing other people's accounts, seeing the struggles that they have, and understanding that you are not alone. You are not alone in struggling to do things in Raid Shadow Legends. There are plenty of places that are challenging for a lot of people, and oftentimes all it is simply taking the time and the effort to slowly but surely invest your resources and make your account better. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I really do appreciate it. You guys are absolutely amazing as always. And until the next video, I am Bront, CatHerder.